Hey everybody, it's Dr. Jo and Sleepy Callie, and today I'm going to show you my 20-minute real-time neck stretches and exercise routine. So let's get started. Disclaimer alert, disclaimer alert. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started with the warm-up, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about the timer as we go. So let's just start off with some side bends to kind of loosen up the neck a little bit. And again, we're going to warm up for about a minute, and then we're going to go in 30-second sets for the stretches and the exercises. So we don't have to count the reps. We'll just do a 30-second, then we'll take a short break, and then between each stretch or exercise, we'll take a little bit longer break. Now do a little bit of rotation. Again, this is just to kind of get everything loosened up, nothing wild and crazy, just getting those muscles a little bit warmer. Only go into your pain-free motion right now if you have pain, or if you're just trying to keep everything nice and healthy, then you can go a little bit further into the stretch. And then maybe just some shoulder circles. You know, again, this is with the shoulder, but a lot of those neck muscles and shoulder muscles connect to each side. So those neck muscles go down to the shoulder, and those shoulder muscles go up to the neck. And then reverse it just a little bit. So now that we got that warm up, we're going to take a quick little break, and then we're going to go into chin tucks. Chin tucks are my favorite. If you've watched any of my videos about the neck and shoulder, you know they're my favorites. So with a chin tuck, you're just keeping the chin in this kind of neutral position, and you're tucking it in. That's what you're doing. So you're not tucking down, but you're tucking back and in. This is kind of an exercise and a stretch, so maybe just start off with trying to hold for 3 to 5 seconds. Sometimes I like to put my finger here, leave it there, and then move back. Once you hold it for a little bit, if you come back, sometimes you'll have a little space in between, and that just maybe shows that you need to do this to kind of stretch out those neck muscles a little bit. They're also great for posture, because a lot of times we're, you know, going forward like this, and a chin tuck is a great way to reset that and really help the neck nice and loosened up. So again, when you're going back into that chin tuck, you can see I can go pretty far, but I do chin tucks every day. I even do them in my car, going to work, all that kind of stuff. So if you're only able to do this much right now, that's okay. Don't force it. Don't go to where it hurts. If you're doing a chin tuck and it hurts, you shouldn't be doing it. You know, whatever motion you can do, and then kind of hold it for a little bit. So even if it doesn't feel like it's moving a lot, if you keep trying it, it'll get there. So after those chin tucks, then you can add on to the chin tucks to make it into a little bit more of an exercise. So we're just going to add shoulder squeezes into the chin tuck, which makes those muscles start working together a little bit, the neck and the shoulder muscles, which is going to help kind of with the neck in general, especially if you're having some pain. So you're going to go into the chin tuck, hold that tuck, and then just kind of shrug your shoulders up this way. So again, chin tuck, shrug up those shoulders, come down. You can also do chin tuck and a shoulder squeeze, whichever one you want, or if you want to alternate, but you're just kind of adding those movements together. So usually I say don't kind of come up like this, but if it's an actual exercise where you're tucking and shifting up, you can do that. You can also do those shoulder squeezes, or if you want to do your first set with the shrugs and then the second set with the squeezes, you can. So again, going into that chin tuck, now I'm squeezing back, but I'm trying to keep that chin tuck the whole time. So if I'm squeezing this way, or if I'm shrugging up this way. Now, if you have to reset every time, you know, do one, come down and stop, kind of like I did at the beginning, that's fine. But eventually you want to hold that chin tuck and be able to do the other exercise while you're holding that chin tuck. That makes it a lot harder, but that makes those muscles work together a lot better. And again, it's a lot tougher than it looks, so make sure you're not doing a whole lot and then getting yourself sore. So now that we've kind of gotten those muscles working a little bit, we're going to go into a couple stretches. So one of my favorite stretches is an upper trap stretch. Again, it's great for the neck and it's great for the shoulders as well. So if I'm stretching my left side, I'm going to sit on my left hand and then bring my right hand up and over and just gently pull to the side. So for this one, I'm keeping my head in a fairly neutral position when I'm pulling over. Sometimes you can get different stretches if you look down or if you look up, but right now I really just want to go over to this side. This is a full 30-second stretch, so I'm just kind of, you know, sitting up tall and getting that nice stretch right through there. You can do this a couple different ways. Placement of your hand. I've always learned sitting on my hand, but you can also place it behind your back. So for this side, I'm going to have it behind my back going into that stretch. You might feel a little bit different stretch. It holds down that shoulder blade a little bit more, and so it's going to give you a really nice stretch in there. And again, you know, if you've done this for a while and you want to kind of turn your head a little bit one way or kind of look down a little bit the other way just to get a little bit of a stretch in a different way, that's good. But usually just starting over to the side to get that stretch is going to be good enough to get everything right through there and really get that neck loosened up and feeling better. Now, if it's a little bit uncomfortable to sit on it or put behind your back, you can just stretch over without putting your other hand anywhere. But what this does is this keeps that shoulder down. So usually you'll get a better stretch with it. But again, you know, if that's uncomfortable or it feels weird, if you just want to place your hand or just kind of let it hang down off of the side, I'm still getting a stretch. I'm still getting a nice stretch through there. But I really do feel like you'll get a little bit better stretch if you either sit on your hand or put it back behind you. And again, you don't want to push these stretches into pain. You want these to be a little bit of tension, slightly uncomfortable. I'll go behind for this one, but it never should be painful. You shouldn't be sitting there counting as fast as you can, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know, you should be able to just sit here comfortably, get a stretch. If you want to do some nice deep breathing, maybe some diaphragmatic breathing, a lot of times that will help get a little bit more of a stretch once everything's relaxed. You can kind of feel that you can get that little bit more of a stretch in there as you go. So sometimes just taking those nice deep breaths, put the mute button on and just kind of do your own thing while you're following along with the stretches. So the next one is going to be a levator scap stretch. And so with the levator scapulae stretch, that's the muscle that kind of goes from your scapula or your shoulder blade all the way into your neck. So this time I'm putting my hand up on the side I want to stretch. I'm bringing my hand over almost like a helmet and I'm pulling at an angle. So I'm not forward, I'm not completely to the side now. I'm kind of at an angle, about that 45 degrees. I'm looking at my opposite knee, or I'm trying to tuck my nose into my armpit there. And so again, this is that full 30-second stretch, getting that nice stretch in there. Now, some people are going to have a hard time bringing their elbow up, especially if they have some neck, shoulder pain. So again, you can put your hand behind your back. Just make sure you're still getting that angle, either that 45-degree angle, or even I'm tucking my nose into my armpit there. So again, you know, this is how I learned it. This is my favorite way to do it. But if that's really uncomfortable, you can just kind of place it behind your back. And what that's doing is that stabilizing that shoulder blade back there, that scapula, and preventing it from coming up when you stretch. So you're just going to feel a better stretch. Again, if those are uncomfortable to do and you just feel like you can't do a whole lot with the other arm, you can go into the stretch and you can do the stretch without doing anything with the other arm, which is fine. But again, you can sit on it, you can put it behind your back, but this is the way I learned. This is my favorite way. And I'm feeling that stretch right through here, all the way down to that shoulder blade where it attaches, and all the way up to that cervical spine or in that neck area. So a lot of times, if that muscle is tight, it's pulling on that cervical spine or where the spine is in your neck and causing pain, tightness, achiness, all those kind of things. And so it's a really good one to stretch out. And also, that muscle, that levator scapulae muscle, is the one that a lot of times if you're stressed out and you sit like this a lot and you're on your computer, you're overworking that muscle and it can cause, again, a lot of pain, a lot of tightness, sometimes even headaches. So this stretch, a lot of times people will go, oh yeah, that's hitting the spot. Sometimes people even have a trigger point right there where it attaches to that shoulder blade. And when you can get it stretched out, it feels really good. So The next one that we're going to do is we're going to go into an anterior scalene stretch. And so there's different sets of the scalene muscles, the anterior, middle, and the posterior. Some people call them different things, but front, middle, and back is basically what it is. And so I like to call this the portrait pose. One of my patients called it that once. So you're just taking the hand of the opposite side, and you're going to just kind of push down on that collarbone a little bit. That's, again, just to stabilize it. I'm going to turn my head towards that side and then lift my ear up towards the ceiling. So this is a great way to stretch it. You should feel it right through there, and just kind of, again, this is that 30-second stretch holding it, but a lot of people will say, take that little pose, and then you can get that stretch that way. You can also turn your head the other way and still get a pretty good stretch in your scalene. So I always tell people sometimes try turning both ways. So if I was turning this way and looking up, I'm getting a stretch. But you can also turn away and then stretch away, still taking that ear up towards the ceiling. So whichever way is more comfortable, maybe try a little bit on each side, but getting that stretch, I'm feeling that nice stretch in through there. And so sometimes with something like thoracic outlet syndrome, stretching those anterior scalenes, because they put a lot of pressure on that first rib up in there, is a really great way to get rid of some of that neck pain. But again, you want these stretches to be comfortable. If they're painful, then you're either pushing too hard or maybe not quite doing it right. So again, kind of getting on that collarbone or that clavicle, turning towards that side, and then lifting that ear up towards the ceiling. Again, when you're doing this, if you want to just do that nice deep breathing and then relaxing, sometimes you can get a better stretch after you let that breath out, taking those nice deep breaths, either the diaphragmatic breathing or even chest breathing, just to get that nice deep breaths in there. And then you can, as you're going, you're going to start feeling like you're loosening up a little bit more. Sometimes might get a little pop or crack. That's pretty normal. People often say, is that normal? That popping and cracking can be a couple different things. Sometimes it is, the bone just kind of rubbing on the bone a little bit, maybe if you have some arthritic changes, or it can just be the fluid shifting in the joints. And that's usually kind of that pop that you'll hear when you get a good pop in your spine or something. And it's really just that fluid shifting causing little bubbles in there, and it's nothing to be worried about as long as it's not painful. It's fine to hear those pops occasionally. I hear mine pop all the time. So we're going to go back into a chin tuck, but now we're going to activate the deep neck flexor muscles, which are the ones that often get stressed out, again, when you have bad posture and you're overworking them. So this time what you're going to do, you're going into that chin tuck again, but now once I'm in that chin tuck, I'm trying to take my chin down. I'm trying to bend it down towards my chest area, but you can see it's not going very far. So this is going to be more of an exercise instead of a stretch. So you can do it this way. You can either do one chin tuck, go down, come back up, and start over, or you can go into that chin tuck and just do some of those neck flexions or bends. And again, you can see with those deep flexor muscles, you're not going to be able to go very far. It's not a big movement because they're deep down in there and it's hard to really get to them. So again, tucking in, bending down into that flexion, coming back out if you need to, or keeping it in and just doing those tucks in there. You can even hold the chin, the flexion down a little bit if you want to. So you can kind of do a couple different ways just to get the different exercises. But I can feel those deep flexor muscles working when I do this. It doesn't take much to get them worked out. So it's a great one just to kind of get everything once you stretch everything out to start strengthening those muscles, because if you have any neck pain and if you're cleared of all precautions, you really want to have that stability in your neck to help protect it so you don't have pain or any kind of arthritic changes in there. So the next one's going to be a rhomboid stretch. So I'm just going to clasp my hands in front of me. I'm punching forward tucking in my chin and kind of arching back a little bit. You can even slouch down some. And so you might say, hey, you know, this isn't quite for the neck, but even those upper back muscles like the rhomboids and the upper traps that we stretch, those all kind of have a lot to do with the neck area. So even though the rhomboids aren't technically connected to the neck area up there, you really want to get those stretched out, because if they're tight there and they're pulling on those shoulder blades, all those muscles, those 20 plus muscles connected to the shoulder blades, if they're not working how they're supposed to, that's going to cause neck pain. So again, punching forward, tucking in that chin, and kind of slouching back or pushing your upper back away from your hands to really get that nice stretch in there. You might have seen me do this where my legs are out in front of me, where I'm either on the couch with my legs in front of me or on the floor. You can do that too. It's going to be a bigger stretch, but sometimes you might have a hard time getting on the floor, or you might not have an area to be able to get down. So just sitting in a chair, you can do that as well. So now we're going to finish up with some isometric exercises. Isometric exercises are when you're activating the muscle, but you're not making a movement with your head or your neck area. And so what that does is it's a great way to get some strengthening in those muscles without causing a lot of pain. So the one that we're going to start off with is a side bend. So the movement that we're doing is this movement, but we're not going to go anywhere. I'm going to take my hand and just kind of place it on my temple on the side, and I'm pushing into my hand. So again, this is the motion I'm doing, but my hand is stopping me from doing it. So you might see some muscles over here activating a little bit. When you first start doing this, I'm just going to do a 3 to 5 second hold, switch over to the other side. Only push with maybe 30% of what you can push. Don't go try pushing 100% and causing a lot of pain. It doesn't take a lot to activate those muscles. And even sometimes if you push a little bit less, you're getting those deeper muscles than if you're pushing hard, you're getting those more superficial or surface bigger muscles. So sometimes it doesn't take much, but again, just maybe a 3 to 5 second push and hold, and then coming back to the other side, 3 to 5 second push and hold, and getting that back and forth. You can do a little bit on each side. You can, again, start with that 3 to 5 and then work your way up. So doing a little bit more with these. This time I'm going to hold maybe 10 seconds. This would be something, again, you want to work up to. So you don't want to feel like these are easy because they're working the muscles more than you think they are. So again, just start off with a little bit, but as you can see now, maybe I'm holding a little bit longer. I'm pushing just maybe a little bit more, but again, I'm not pushing with everything. I don't want to, I don't want to move my head while I'm pushing in like this. I am stopping myself from making that movement that might be uncomfortable or painful at the time. So we're going to do one more of those, and then we'll go into some of the isometrics with a different movement. So again, just kind of pushing in. And again, if you want to do some deep breathing with this, that sometimes helps a little bit too. Again, you might get a little bit of popping with this, those adjustments, which sometimes people call them. And as long as it's not painful, it's okay. It's just things kind of moving around in there. Some people will argue it's just the fluid moving. Some people will argue that it is the joint moving a little bit. Either way, it usually gives some good relief when you do it. So as long as that pop's not painful, there's usually no issues with it. So the last one is going to be still an isometric exercise, but this time it's going to be an extension exercise. So you can use your hands, or you can stand behind a wall so you can push your head into the wall, or if you have a tall chair. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to kind of hold the back of my head. And now, so this time this is the movement I want to do, but I'm just stopping myself from doing it and pushing into my hands. So again, starting off with just that 3 to 5 second push, holding it, with about 30% of as hard as you think you can, and then relax. So again, this is the movement, but my hands are stopping me from doing it. So I'm just kind of pushing into my hands and relaxing. If you feel any dizziness or anything with these exercises, especially with the neck, make sure you stop and check in with your doctor or your physical therapist for sure. And again, just kind of pushing in. Now I'm going to push just maybe a little bit harder, maybe 50%, maybe a little bit longer, maybe 5 to 10 instead of the 3 to 5. And again, you know, just going to where you feel okay, because if you're pushing and it's already hurting, you're probably going to be a little bit sore later. So again, just pushing in, relaxing, taking those nice deep breaths if you want to. And that's it. So there you have it. That was my 20-minute real-time neck stretches and exercise routine. If you'd like to help support my channel, make sure and click on the link up there. And don't forget to subscribe. Where, Callie? Yeah, down there. And remember, be safe, have fun, and I hope you feel better soon.